Hi there, friends. Welcome to this beginner feel good flow. For this class, grab a couple of blocks, a yoga strap or something like a yoga strap, and if you like to use a blanket, grab that as well. I have one underneath my seat. We will get started just on our seats. You can use either a block or a blanket to kind of prop up those sit bones, help you get a long spine and give a little bit of release through the hips. So pick either a block or a blanket if that feels good to sit up on. We'll come to just an easy, comfortable seat. As always, your body, your practice. If I'm doing something that does not feel right for you, by all means, skip that. Take a modification, take a resting pose, take whatever feels good for you. Listen to your body. We'll get started here on our seats. Close down your eyes. You can just place your hands on top of your knees for just a moment. We'll focus on taking some deep, even, full breaths. Maybe in and out through the nose. And as you start to breathe, work to expand your lungs out in all directions, not just bottom to top, top to bottom, but also through your sides, from front to back. Picture almost like balloons, your lungs just expanding out in all directions. And then on that exhale, contracting back in. Continue to take these deep, full, even breaths. And as we flow today, we are going to work on letting go of distractions. I have a distraction right here on my mat today, so this will be a definite practice for me as well. And it's really just about allowing yourself time and space here on your mat in this moment to tune into your body, your breath, your thoughts, without all of that noise that tends to surround us throughout our days. So we're putting the to-do list away, we're putting the phones down, and we're just here for a few moments, breathing and moving. Take one more deep, full, even inhale and exhale. And then gently open your eyes. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Palms can touch. On your exhale, bring your right hand down by your side. And then lean over towards your right, getting a nice side stretch up the left side. Work to open your chest up towards the ceiling. Inhale, palms touch again. Exhale, left hand comes down, right arm reaches over towards the left. You can even think about pressing that right sit bone down into that block or the blanket to help get some length going up through the right side. Let's go to each side one more time. Inhale, palms touch. Exhale, right hand down, left arm reaches. You could gaze up under that left arm. Inhale, hands touch overhead, left side. Reach that left hand down, stretch the right. Inhale, both arms back up overhead, palms touch. On your exhale, twist towards the right. So you'll split your arms, right fingertips down behind you. Left fingertips can fall anywhere on that right leg. And then instead of using your arms to kind of crank you into that twist, use your obliques, the sides there of your core, to reach your heart towards the right. Take a couple of breaths, keep a long spine. And then with your right hand that's behind you, start to reach it back behind you. Draw almost like a rainbow or an arc shape over your body, reaching tall through those right fingertips. Your eyes can follow that right hand, and it will draw that rainbow all the way until it crashes into your left knee. So the right hand will cross on top of the left. From here, we'll lift the arms up, keeping that cross, and just grab opposite shoulders. The elbows are sort of stacked here. On your inhale, we'll reach those elbows up, open the chest, and then exhale, close off through the chest, point the elbows down towards the mat. Feel a stretch here, opening through the back of your shoulders. Do a few more of these, inhaling them up, and then exhaling them down. This is a version of our eagle arms, especially right at the beginning of class. As you can see, my arms don't want to go into eagle arms. You can just grab for opposite shoulders, and it'll still work that separation here on our seated cat. So let's do one more up, and exhale, round through the back, draw the belly in. Let's release the hands down by our sides. Inhale them back up overhead one more time. This time twist to the left. Open those arms, left fingertips behind, right on the outside of the left knee. Inhale, get a long spine. Exhale, twist a little bit further, reaching the heart towards the left side. And then same thing here with that left hand. Draw that big rainbow up and overhead. Take your time here. Let go of any of those distractions around you and just focus on that slow movement of the left hand. Once it arrives there towards the right knee, keep those arms crossed, reach them up in front, grab back for opposite shoulders, and then we'll open the chest on the inhale. Exhale, round through the chest, stretch the back. Do a couple more on your own breath, inhaling and exhaling, connecting the breath with the movement, working for those deep, full, even inhales and exhales. Let's do one more. Up and exhale it down. Let's inhale the arms up overhead one more time. Exhale, draw those elbows down into like goalpost or cactus arms, and then really push that chest forward. Draw your shoulder blades towards one another on your back. Reach the back up overhead. Let's just do two more elbow pulls down. Up and open through the chest. Release the hands down. We'll rock forward onto hands and knees. You can move your prop out off to the side if you were using a block or a blanket underneath your seat. And then from here, we'll take our dancing lion. So we've got our wrists underneath our shoulders, our knees underneath our hips, and we'll just start to circle around, keeping your hands and your knees in the same position. We'll go back towards the heels and then forward of the hands a little bit, stretching through our shoulders and our hips, our wrists. Once you've done a few going one direction, turn and go back the opposite way. And then we'll lift up into a downward facing dog. So curl your toes underneath. You may need to walk your hands forward just a little bit. We'll press down into those palms, lift the seat up, and keep bent knees. Your heels can be lifted here. Really press down through that index finger, knuckle, and thumb to push the mat away as you lift your seat up high and try to draw a straight line from your wrists all the way up through your sit bones. Maybe walk out through your heels, lowering one at a time. Maybe hearing some pops and some cracks through your ankles. If you're me, that's all good. It's normal, as long as it's not accompanied with any pain. And then from here, we'll take our right foot forward, land it in between those hands. Use your hand if you need to help you move that foot forward, and we'll lower the back knee down. So we'll rise up into like a 90-90 lunge position here. If you need a little bit of support under that back knee, you can slide your blanket underneath. And from here, we'll inhale our arms up overhead. Exhale, take your right hand to your right hip, and then lean over towards the right. Stretch the left side again. Squeeze this left glute. Feel an opening here, maybe through that left hip on the front side. And then on your exhale, lower that left hand down onto either the mat or a block, and you can take this into a twist. Let go of distractions that are around you. That's the theme of our class. Breathe into that twist. Neck can gaze, or head can gaze up towards the right thumb. If that's not comfortable for your neck, just keep it neutral. Choose what feels best for you. And then we'll curl our back toes underneath. See if you can lift that back knee off of the mat into a revolved crescent lunge. Hug your inner thighs in towards one another. And then on your exhale, bring your right hand down to frame your front foot. So you can place the right hand on mat or a block as well. So we're in like a low runner's lunge here. And then use your hands. You can walk up onto that right thigh. We'll rise up into a high crescent lunge. Inhale those arms up overhead, palms face towards one another. Take an exhale. Next inhale, draw those elbows down, open the chest, just like we did in our seated position. Draw the shoulder blades towards one another on the back. Exhale, reach them up. Inhale, expand, open through the chest. Keep those inner thighs hugging in. Let's do one more, arms up. Let's open them back down. Once you have these cactus arms, these goalpost arms, keep them here, and then take 3 little twists towards the right. They don't have to be big, but we'll rotate through the chest towards the right, keeping your arms out to the sides. That's hard to balance and move at the same time. If you fall, it's okay. Just come right back into it. Exhale, hands come down onto the blocks or the mat, and we'll step this right foot back into our downward facing dog. You can keep the hands on the blocks for downward facing dog if that feels good, or you can take your hands back down onto the mat. Either way, press the palms down, lift that seat up, and then we'll do the same thing with the left foot. So we'll bring the left foot forward. Use your hand to help you if you need a little bit of help getting that left foot towards the front. Come down onto the right knee. We're back in that 90-90 lunge. So 90-degree bend here in the left hip and the knee. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, left hand to left hip. Right arm reaches towards the left. Squeeze your right glute. Take a breath. Come back to the breath anytime you feel rushed or distracted in life, as well as on the mat. Come back to that breath. From here, take your right hand down, mat or the block, next to that left foot. Open that left arm up into the twist. Take a deep breath. From here, we'll curl those back toes underneath. See if you can lift that back knee off of the mat. It might help to think about getting some energy out through that back heel. And then exhale your left hand down onto your block or the mat. We're in that runner stretch facing forward. You can use your hands to walk up onto your thigh. And then we'll inhale, arms up into our high crescent lunge. You can have a straight back leg here. If it feels better, you can bend that back knee, whatever feels best for you. We'll take a breath. Next, inhale, open those arms out to the sides in our cactus. Exhale, bend back up. Inhale as you open the chest. Big breath in. Exhale and release. Last one here. Open your chest. Keep those cactus arms. 3 little twists through the torso to the left. Feeling those obliques engaged, just like we did in that seated twist at the beginning, using the muscles to help us move, not our hands. We'll come back to center. Hands can come down, blocks or the mat. Step that left foot back into our downward facing dog. You can always have blocks underneath your hands in down dog. Sometimes that feels good. It gives us a little bit more space. Brings the mat closer. We'll step the right foot forward again, up towards the hands, and then we'll spin forward and face the left side of the mat and land in like a star position. So just like a wide-legged open position here on the mat. Your toes can point out to the sides a little bit, and we'll just bend the knees and take some little high, kind of like Skandasana lunges. So you'll bend the right knee, bend the left, keep the opposite leg straight-ish if you can. Sit the hips back, probably feeling a stretch going up the straight leg and her thigh. Let's do a couple more to each side. Last one here. Next time you come up straight, turn your toes to face the left side of the mat. So now they're parallel with the front and back of the mat. You can grab your blocks and have them in front of you if that's handy. We'll take a wide-legged forward fold here. So have your hands on your hips to start. Picture your pelvis like a bowl full of water. And as we fold forward, spill everything out of that bowl as you lift your sit bones up behind you and tilt the pelvis. Hands can come down on blocks or the mat. And then try to release as much as you can up through the upper back, the neck, all the way up through your head. Take those deep, full, even breaths. Let go of those distractions, those things that are happening after we finish our flow today, those to-do lists. Just let those go for a minute as you breathe. Notice where you feel sensation in your body. Great way to come into the present and let go of outside distractions is simply to just scan your body, starting all the way down with your feet, up through your legs. Notice where you're feeling stretching or tightness or tension. Take your breath to that area. Next, inhale, press your hands down into the mat or the blocks, whatever is in front of you, into a half lift. So get a long spine out through the crown of your head. Bring your hands back to your hips, lift your torso back up into our wide-legged standing position. Turn your right toes to face the front of the mat, and we'll have our heel lined up with the arch of the left foot at the back of the mat. From here, bend your right knee. We'll lower our hips. Keep shoulders stacking over hips and reach your arms out in opposite directions. This is our Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Have energetic arms, not noodly arms, shoulders down away from the ears. On your next inhale, flip your front palm to face up towards the ceiling and then reach your right arm up overhead as your left hand slides down that back leg. So our lower body stays the same here for our reverse warrior. We're simply stretching the right side of the body as we reach the right arm up and over. Take a breath here. Next exhale, we'll come back towards our Warrior 2 and continue on. Right forearm to right thigh, left arm reaches up and overhead. This is our extended side angle. So we've got a long line going all the way up the left side of our body. Work to open your chest up towards the ceiling. You can gaze up under that left arm or just keep your neck neutral. This is where you listen to your body and what feels best. Next inhale, we'll come back up towards Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Straighten that front leg. We'll come back into our star position that we started in. So we've got our toes pointing out a little bit. And from here, we'll take some pulses through like our star and a goddess squat. So reach your arms up, make that star shape, and then we'll bend our knees, sit the seat down. You can draw the elbows in a little bit towards a goddess stretch. So we're simply bending our knees, lowering our seat down, trying to keep the chest lifted and then elbows pulling down. So we'll inhale, stretch it back up, star. Exhale, sit down, squat. Do this a few times on your own breath. Remembering to breathe, that's important. And then last one here. We'll stand right back up into our star. Let's take our wide-legged forward fold one more time, pointing the toes forward, hands on hips, hinge the pelvis. Reach your sit bones up behind you. Hands can come down on blocks or the mat. Remember to breathe. Let go of those distractions. If you hear snoring, I promise it's not me, it's the dog. We always, at least I do when I'm practicing, have those distractions. Kids, dogs, doorbell, phone calls. Just try to breathe through it. Sometimes we get interrupted. I know I totally do. Just got to let it go if you can. Next inhale, let's come back up into our half lift. So hands on the blocks, long spine. Bring your hands back to your hips, rise it up to stand, and then turn your left toes to face the back of the mat. We'll do our poses here on the left side. So reach your arms out to the sides, bend that left knee. You can scoot that right foot back if you need a little bit more space between your legs. And then we'll check in with our pelvis. We'll want to keep it from tilting forward. Try to keep a level-ish pelvis. Shoulders stacking over those hips. Gaze can be forward. One more breath. Really ground down through both feet. Inhale and flip your front palm. Reverse that warrior. Stretch your left side. This right hand's not placing any pressure or weight. It's just gently sliding down the back of that leg. And then next exhale, bring your left forearm to your thigh, reach your right arm up and overhead into your extended side angle. Press down through that outer edge of your right foot to help you gain a little bit of length up the right side. One more breath here. And then we'll inhale back up to our Warrior 2. Straighten that front leg. We'll come back into the star position. So heels are in slightly, toes are out. Reach your arms up. Do a few of those little goddess pulses on your exhale. Lower the seat. Inhale and reach. Lower and reach. Let's do two more. Last one, stand it back up. We'll turn to face the front of the mat and just step this left foot forward if you need to take some hops to get there. It's all good. We'll stand here at the front of the mat and we'll take our Utkatasana chair pose. So for this one, you can have your feet parallel with some space between them, or you could bring your feet together, whatever feels best. I like to keep a little bit of space between my feet. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, sit back into your chair so seat goes down. And then try to keep your pelvis in a neutral position. So we're not doing that big pelvis tilt like we did in the forward fold, and we're not tucking it under too much. We're keeping it more neutral. Arms can reach up overhead or stay here at heart center. Take a couple of breaths, feeling the legs fire up and the seat. And then next, inhale, press down into those feet, straighten your legs, rise it back up to stand. Here at the top of our mat, we'll take a couple of balancing poses. So if you need to hold on to a wall or come to a wall or a counter or the back of a chair, by all means do that. Otherwise, we'll stand here. We'll lift the right leg up first into stork. So ground down through the left foot. I kind of like to have my hands on my hips for this one. We'll bend the right knee and draw it in towards the chest. So kind of like that 90-90 lunge at the beginning. This is our stork pose or flying Tadasana. We'll stay here for a breath. If you would like to add a little bit of a twist into this balancing pose, you may. Otherwise, just stay here for a couple breaths. Hold on to the wall if you need to. We'll take the left hand to the outside of that knee and then reach the right arm back behind us. And maybe you have all the wobbles and the wiggles and the shakes and it's all good. If you're in the twist, we'll face back towards center. We'll place that right foot down, maybe shake out that left ankle a little bit. And we'll try that on the other side. Ground down through that right foot. Think about either having 3 or 4, depending on what feels best for you, corners on the sole of your foot. So the 2 corners under the big toe and the little toe, and then you'd either have 1 on the heel or 2 on each side. Press all those corners down as you lift that left knee up towards the chest. Stay here for a breath. Find a point to focus on that's not moving. That's called our drishti as we're balancing. If you'd like to add the twist, you can take your right hand to the outside of that left leg and then open that left arm back behind you. Gaze wherever is comfortable for you and will help you keep your balance. Sometimes if you try to gaze too far back, that can throw you off. One more breath. We'll come back to center, place the left foot back down on the mat, maybe shake out that right ankle, and then we'll just come down onto our seat. So however is comfortable for you to get down. Once we are on our seat, we will take a modified version of Half Lord of the Fishes. So this one can feel good. We'll stretch the left leg out long, and then we'll take the right leg and cross the right foot over the left knee or kind of right above the knee there on the thigh, and we'll have the right sole of the foot down. Let's inhale the right arm up, get a long, long spine, and then exhale, twist towards the right, hugging that leg in with your left arm and having your right fingertips behind you. So we have our arms here on our legs that can kind of help us crank towards the right in our twist, but let's focus on using the obliques instead. So the arms are there to gently guide us, not pull us too far. Take a breath or two. Next, inhale, face your chest back towards center. We'll keep a bend in this right leg, but we'll bring the right sole of the foot to the inside of that left leg, and then open the knee out to the side, placing the right sole of the foot on the inside of the left thigh. This will be our Janu Sirsasana. You can grab your strap if it's handy. We'll take a forward fold in this position. So if you'd like to have your strap hooked around the left sole of the foot, to help you reach towards the foot and pull forward, you can use your hands, whatever feels best for you. So we'll ground down, get a long spine first, and then as we exhale, hinge at the hips, reach your chest forward like it's going to go past that left foot towards the opposite wall. And then this is where you can pull the strap, or you could have your hands close to your feet. As you fold forward, once you kind of reach that edge, you can let the chest round a little bit through the upper back and let the neck go and the crown of the head. And just remember to breathe. You can always slide a prop underneath this right knee if that's feeling too intense. You can slide a blanket or a block underneath. Let's take one more deep, full breath. And then I like to just place my fingertips down, you can release the strap, and tiptoe the fingertips back towards the hips as you stack your spine, letting the head come up last. And then we'll switch sides. Right leg will reach long. We'll take that left leg, cross it over the right, come onto the left sole of the foot. And then long spine, reach that left arm up, twist your chest towards the left, place the left fingertips behind you, and then hug that left knee in with the right foot. And then did you see it? I had to remind myself, keep that right leg active. It's a reminder I always have to give myself. And just breathe here for a few rounds of breath. Any thoughts that come up, reminding you of all the things you have to do after class, just let those thoughts continue to pass. Give yourself a few more moments of presence, of calm. We'll inhale, bring it back to center, and take our Janu Sirsasana. So that left leg stays bent. Bring the left sole of the foot to the inside of that right thigh. We'll inhale, arms up, exhale, hinge at the hips, hook the strap around the foot if that felt good for you last time. And then chest reaches forward first, keeping length in the spine. And then once you kind of find that edge, you can release up through the upper back and the neck. Could even take that body scan here and just notice where that tightness or that tension is occurring for you. We often move through our day without checking in with our body and how things feel. Sometimes we get up out of bed in the morning and it's like, oh, I'm stiff, I'm sore, and then you start your day and then that's it. We don't really check in with it again or take breath to that area, take stretches. Next inhale, we'll start to tiptoe those fingertips back. Stack that spine. We'll reach the left leg long, and then we'll come down onto our back. So maybe scoot your seat forward on your mat. Bring a block with you. Have it handy there by your side. And we'll roll all the way down onto our backs. Keep your feet on the mat. Have your knees bent about hips distance apart. We'll take some gentle bridge rolls. You can have your hands down by your sides at first with palms pressing down into the mat. And then we'll press down through the feet, tuck the pelvis, push down through the heels, lift the seat up. And then exhale, roll it right back down. Do that a few more times on your own breath, just inhaling it up, lifting the pelvis, exhaling it back down. Press down through those feet, lift it up, squeeze the backside, exhale it down. This time, grab your block, have it handy. And as we press up, we'll slide the block underneath and place it just under our sacrum, which is that flat spot there on your low back. And we'll release down into the block and take a supported bridge. So press down through those feet, lift up, lift that pelvis up, slide your block underneath. The height will depend on what feels best for you. I like to do it on this low setting and have the flat, wider spot, if that makes sense, of the block there on my sacrum. And then we'll release. You may have to kind of play around with where it feels best on your lower back. Release that down onto the block. And then feel just an opening here. You can have your hands out to the sides. Just let it sink into the block. If for some reason this is not feeling good, you can just roll it back down. Let your knees rest on one another and just take a reconstructive pose with your pelvis down on the mat. Let's just stay here for a couple of breaths. One more big breath. And to come out of this, press down through your feet again. Lift that pelvis up just a little bit. Slide the block off to the side. And then roll it right back down like we did before. Bringing the tailbone down last. Once we're down here on our backs, reach your left leg out long and hug your right knee in towards your chest. Take a half wind pose here. You could rock the knee side to side. And we'll take this into a half-wind twist. So take the right knee over, cross your body towards the left side, and then maybe lift up a little bit. I always have to do this. Hike onto the outside of the left hip. Place that leg out off to the side if a furry creature is not in the way. Reach your right arm up overhead and open it out to the side. Try to draw your right shoulder down towards the mat. And then gaze can stay up towards the ceiling or over towards that right thumb. A few breaths here. Notice where you might be holding on and see if you can let it go. Sometimes those distractions are even just our thought patterns. We get into this kind of circular thought of what we always do or always worry about, and sometimes stopping that is really stopping an unnecessary distraction. Next inhale, we'll roll back up, bring that right knee back in, give it one more hug, and then switch sides. Reach the right leg long, hug that left knee in, maybe wiggle it a little before you take that left knee over towards the right side. Work to stack those hips, reach your left arm up overhead and out to the side. The palm of your left hand will face up towards the ceiling. Then if you need a little bit of help getting that left shoulder down towards the mat, try to scoot your right ribs further towards the right. Let's see if that gives you a little bit of space. That always works for me, so feel free to try that. Breathe here in your half-wind twist. Two more deep, full breaths. Having time for a movement practice like yoga can provide so many, not only physical, but mental and emotional benefits. But I know sometimes I'm the same way. I don't have time to be on my mat and move on some days. And that's where this breath can come in. Just stopping and breathing for 1 minute can have such a drastic improvement on your day. Giving yourself just 1 minute. Let's inhale it back up to center, hug that left knee in one more time. And then we'll reach that left foot down towards the left corner of the mat and right foot towards the right corner. And then just let your feet naturally splay open. They get to just relax now. The work is done. Lift your chest, tuck your shoulder blades underneath, get some length up through the back of your neck, reach your arms out to the sides, have your palms face up. And here in our Shavasana, as you close your eyes, let go of that breath and just be the witness to the breath here. The rise and the fall, let it come naturally. Take that scan of your body, starting all the way down with your toes, your ankles. Let any tension melt away from your shins, your calves, up through your knees. Allow the muscles around your thigh bones to feel heavy, to sink towards the floor. Relax through your hips and your pelvis. Feel a softening in your low belly. Feel space between each one of your ribs. Widen through your collarbones, relax your shoulders. Let go all the way down through your arms, into your wrists, your palms, each single fingertip. Feel that lengthen the back of your neck. Notice if you're clenching your jaw, let it release. You can part your lips slightly, release your tongue. Soften through your cheeks. behind your eyes, all the way up through your forehead and the space between your brows. Release any tension all the way up through the crown of your head. Let go of the distractions. Give yourself time for breath, for movement. Give yourself time here for stillness. I'll invite you to just stay here in your Shavasana for as long as you would like. Thank you so much for joining me for this class.